I talked to, we're going to talk about the only reason for this meeting is the levy. And I asked everybody to bring their expenses in for,
Did you bring your expenses?
for the amounts of their workers' comp and their insurance. Have you guys, did you guys bring your numbers down? Or you just read them off to me? Greenwood, have you got yours?
Yep.
Okay, your comp?
9,300, or no, the comp is, I'm sorry. The comp is 3668,
3668, okay.
and the rest of it is 931857. That's on the trucks.
Okay.
And the building.
Okay. Smithburg, you guys got yours?
Hold on a second. David just gave me a lump sum. That's all I've got.
He didn't break it?
No.
McClellan, you got yours?
No, I forgot to bring mine, but I know what it say.
Yeah. What?
So I know pretty well what it is.
Okay, what do you,
My workman's comp is about 3,862. And insurance is 13,800. I'm not sure.
3,800?
Yeah.
Okay.
See? Your eyes better? Good.
I was gonna say if you need our total,
I'm just trying to get this
See,
together
I
for,
heard about the last time, he didn't know you'd get well
We
that
have to pay
quick.
ours all once or something.
Well, that's-
okay, Smithburg, you got an idea on yours
He said 16.5.
for everything?
Yeah,
And you don't have an idea what your,
I'm trying to
That's
go.
what we buy
Okay.
every 3 months.
okay, well, I talked to David Spinagle, we've had several long conversations about this, and I asked him to run the numbers from the last levy on last year's evaluations. Now, that's what everybody was evaluated last year, and that's what we got to base that on, the expectations of the levy. He ran the last levy numbers, the rates on categories 2, 3, and 4, and he doesn't have the utility, he just got his utility taxes in yesterday when I talked to him. And did he get them certified, did he say? He was trying to get them certified at the time, but anyway, if he ran the levy, we're right at, if we run the same rates, we'll raise about $200,000. It's $201,600 and some dollars. So our workers' comp was $24,058 last year, and our insurance was $15,000. Everybody else is about the same. The squads was $28,169, and their vehicle insurance was $7,000 or $30,758, and everybody else's is running about the same, about right at $3,000, $4,000 for their, but their vehicle insurance is eating them up. It's all $8,000 and $10,000 for everybody. Bank sent me their stuff in. They're paying $7,000 for vehicle insurance.
Yeah.
How much
And
do they pay on the
so I'm gonna add all these up. What I did is I made a sheet up like this, and I didn't have, I couldn't, there wasn't any way without the numbers to do it. We get everybody's numbers. We can, I'll put this in. What I'm gonna do is present to the county court next week on Tuesday. I went and talked to Beth today, and I'm on there twice, once for OES and then I'm for fire rescue. I'm gonna try to get everything set up, and there's room in the levy if we wanna do this,
Okay, but now, let me ask you one thing.
okay?
Are we going to one company, or are we going to keep the company we've got?
What do you mean?
Insurance companies.
Yeah, at the insurance.
Doesn't matter. What we were going to do, what we envisioned and what we talked about last time, I think if I understood it right, this was just going to be a payment to the department. The department pays their own insurance.
Okay.
Leon's got,
No, that's one of the things we wanted to find out.
you just went with what, Bill Bailey. Who you guys got for your vehicle insurance? Bill Bailey? See, we've got
McNeil.
McNeil and Company.
Oh, that's what we got.
That's what we've got, and with the way it is, I talked to our representative on it today, and she told me, she said, whatever you do, she said, don't let them put you into one lump, because
No,
she
we're
said,
not.
then you'll be working with everybody, and when one department has a wreck, it reflects on you and you lose.
I understand.
She said if you're not gonna stay
See,
as,
if we've not paid their claim for 30 years, on
The
that.
last workman's comp claim we had was my wife, when she messed up her ankle when he was driving a truck.
Is it years ago?
Well,
35 years ago to
So-
be exact.
Okay. If she had to jump off, she'd have been all right.
that's, well,
That's the deal.
I can understand if you was driving, why she'd want to get off there. No, I can understand that.
I
But,
was sideways every she jumped.
Well, his grandson said, you know, he had to drive back the other day from Parkersburg because he was sweating going down. He said it was bad.
Okay, but I really don't know where we're going from here. Now, David said the other day that there's enough money in the budget that he said this is an excess levy. What we run is an excess levy, which means the county court spent all their money, and we're going to ask the voters for excess money above and beyond what the county court has. David questioned to me, and I invited him to the meeting the other day to explain that to the county court. And there may be a very real chance that this may end up as a budget item. I don't know that it will, and I don't, I hate to ask for money that we don't need, but I'm certainly, if we don't need to run a levy out there and ask the people for it, I don't think we ought to. But there's an awful lot of people. Now, the squad's got almost $60,000 in this, and I asked Mike to get his emergency runs out, and we'll prorate that back on emergency runs. But see, that's going to change to the 5th of this month, so it'll be, maybe we can come up with a prorate. Randy had a meeting to go to. He wasn't going to be here tonight, so he sent his stuff in this morning to me. And truthfully, I don't know what else to tell you other than that point. I know that there's an awful lot of people, since it's been in the newspaper, there's an awful lot of people talking about wanting to get this levy running again for the fire departments. But I don't really want to ask the people to vote for something and tax them more if we don't have to. But I heard the county court's got a Brinks truck backing in up there every other day.
Probably ought to think about running that levy.
Well, anyway we do it, we'll have to come up with some money to run the levy with. We'll have to come up with some money to some different things. We'll have to go through the process. But the first question I wanted to ask was there money there to run it? Yes, there is. I feel comfortable about that. We don't have to raise it. We may decrease some of the, David said without seeing the class 3 property taxes, which is all utilities and non-resident landowners, he said, and these big companies, he said we might be able to cut that back a little bit, actually reduce it to make our numbers work, because we can only be within, I think, 8% above. Daryl, do you remember that 8% above or 8% below projection? I think that's right, isn't it? Okay. But we can only be in that range, so we'll have to juggle the stuff. But I wanted to make sure the top end was there, the volume was there to take care of this.
The county has got the money.
We don't know that they do or not.
Well, they may have.
We're all working on next year's projections.
Okay.
On what they evaluate all the property at, and they're getting a bunch of oil and gas kicking in right now. But until David gets it certified, he said he won't know. But he said they had to have it certified by the 3rd of the month.
And we may not need to run this levy to pay it.
We may not have to.
You may not, when we do our budget.
But see, then it'd become a budget item.
But can we count on that every year?
No.
No, we'd have to go back every year and resubmit it. That's it. And the levy we only count on for 3 years.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. But if we pass this levy right today, it'd be a year and a half almost before we see any money.
Oh, yeah.
And you realize that. But if we get it in as a budget item, then we'd see it July 1st.
When everything comes due.
And when everything comes due. You guys July to July?
Yeah.
Okay, you see it July 1st in this year's budget. So that's what we're looking at versus the one or the other.
Okay.
And I don't know that, I just don't know which way it's going to go. It's not going to be my decision. We're back up there, and I don't want to push the envelope. We've got our foot in the door, and you know what I mean. We're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. Prorating the squad, I think, is going to be one thing that everybody talked about, wanting the squad in it, and and if we do that, but I don't think we need, this would be, if it's a budget item, then we wouldn't have to have the fire rescue organization and the bonded treasurer other than the tax money's coming in from the old levy. We wouldn't have to go through all that. We wouldn't have all that bureaucracy deal with the county court and just send each department a check on projected, and we'd probably have to raise it, and that being every year, we'd probably have to raise it. Because we get a projection, don't we, Michael, on what it's gonna cost every year?
Yeah, but couldn't they just pay for next year and still run the levy so you get it?
No. We're not, Patsy, we're not
got a
gonna
good
do
idea.
both.
No, I mean, because you don't know it's not gonna be there.
There's no food booths in this, Patsy.
I didn't wasn't saying nothing about food
No,
booths,
but you
but I
never-
said,
No, but the thing that I don't really like about this whole deal, we're not sure that the money is gonna be there.
Well, from year to year, you don't know about anything.
Well, we do, if we run a levy. if we know
It's
the money-
3 years.
Okay, if we know the money's there for 3 years.
Well,
And this one, we've only got 1 year. I think Patsy's on the right track over for one thing.
well, let's talk it over next week. When you always get back together and thrash it out, see what the county court's got to say.
I still, but I go along with you on the deal about not raising taxes on the people.
Yes.
And we've been taxed enough. And without.
I'm for not raising the taxes on
Yeah.
anybody that we don't
Yeah,
have to.
I'm in favor of that part of it.
Where'd your counter half go to the back here, Sean?
I think he's after talking to David.
Okay. You feel the same way? Let's go on the budget if we can. If not, we'll run the levy when he comes back in. Mike, what do you think about it?
It's, either way you go with it, it's gonna be a year and a half
It's
to
a
run the
win-win.
levy or not.
You know, either way you go, it's gonna be a win-win.
If it's not gonna be up, you know, if the tickets aren't gonna be high, and then I'd say go ahead and shoot for the levy.
Well, I don't think we need to ask for money to.
No, I don't either.
We've never asked for money we didn't need, so.
No.
You have a total of what you
I
need?
will shortly.
Okay.
What you got back here? Anything?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Well, we know there's a 16, so we got 20, 50. 6, 7, this is running about 130,000 right
I'm
now
gonna say 130 plus.
For everybody?
for everybody.
Okay, now how much state money do you guys get?
42,000,
1,000?
yeah, a piece.
We don't get that.
Yeah, you do.
Everybody does.
Everybody gets 42 a piece.
I've seen the
Yes.
numbers.
If ever, yeah, it's on the computer. You can go load it up on the computer. Go to State
Okay.
Farm Marshal's office and.
Okay.
Okay, now my question is that all the money you get?
Yep.
Yep.
You get no other money from no place?
Just donations and
Well,
selling
yeah.
hot dogs and
Okay, but you don't get no money from state, only the 42,000?
beauty
right.
pageants and anything.
Each department gets the same?
And if the pay, if farmers get their way, we ain't gonna get that.
but if you don't do your paperwork, you don't get it.
I understand that. Now, what's the money to be used for that comes from the state? There's certain things it's gotta be used for?
Yes.
Yes.
Like what?
Beer and steaks and
No.
cars. No, it's all earmarked. They audit that money
Yeah.
every 3 years or 5 years.
Seems like every year
Seems to me
lately.
like every year to me.
Okay.
I gonna say it does
They
like.
audit that. It has to be used for equipment
I can
upkeep. It
get
has
you
to
a
be
copy
used
of
for,
what we,
you know,
Equipment purchases,
there's a
equipment
percentage
repair.
of it for equipment purchase, for equipment repair, for building upkeep, for building maintenance. Still nothing.
you can't buy flowers, you can't buy candy, you can't buy meals.
You can't
out
pay,
of it.
you can't pay your
11 and
insurance
what?
and your workman's comp out of that?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
What is it? 11 and 60.
11 for your insurance?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we're right at about 30,000 then. 130.
You wish it was.
I spent every bit of stuff this year that I had for the state except for about $1,000.
If
Yeah,
we
we
send,
ended up paying the state back on it because we used some of that state money for our parade deals.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
ended up paying 5,000 of it back.
yeah, and like we sent flowers to Charlie Langford's family, that came out of the donation money or the pop machine. We got a total different fund for that. So.
Yeah, if you buy anything the state don't like, when they do that audit, you pay the money back.
Randy Trent, when the Kegley girl was killed out there and we had that big search thing, they went and bought hot dogs for everybody, fed everybody in the evening out there that first night, and the state kicked it back out and said you can't buy hot dogs. But when they found out it was for a search, it wasn't a problem, but there just wasn't a clarity on there. When we had the audit, that wasn't a clarity, so we had to go back and clarify. Well, once I figured out what it was, we sent it back to the auditor, there wasn't a problem. But you just got nomenclature terminology there.
Well, if the commission's got the money, I'm speaking for the commission. If we see we're gonna have the money, I don't think there's any problem that we give you
Well,
this money.
Let's go with that assumption then. I'll get all this typed up. I've got the rough numbers now.
Okay.
And we'll go with that. I asked David to be at the meeting on Tuesday, because I was sure there was questions that I couldn't answer that he could answer about the tax levy
Yeah.
rates and everything.
Yeah.
And I just, we'll just go from there. And
With all
I'll,
this drilling and all this, gotta be
yeah,
big
Linda, but
money
if they
coming
drill,
in there.
those drilled those wells there across from you on Bobby Sands,
Yeah,
and that's where they was building that pipeline across, turn them in. When the first gas hits the meter, it's 3 years before any taxes are paid.
That's right, Pat.
And people don't realize that.
Well, aren't they coming up 3 years on what you had done out your way?
That's what they're getting ready to get. Kay keeps talking about the windfall when they drilled in here 3 years ago, 2008, 2009, 2010, all that stuff, the taxes are starting to come up on. And some of that stuff, like Daryl can tell you, he's a well tender, they shut it in because they didn't want to pay taxes on it. They just, after they got it drilled, they just shut it in. They didn't want to pay taxes on it, so it's set for, they didn't have any pipelines to put it in. They were still building the lines and stuff, so they just shut
They're
it
still
in.
doing that.
Yeah.
A lot of these wells are still shut in. They're not gonna pay
And
taxes on
so these are the first wells that when they built that 18-inch line, started filling it up with gas, then they had to start paying taxes on that stuff. And last summer they brought a line clear from Pennsburg, that Pennsburg-Pullman exit down there, clear up on 50 all the way down, hooked right to mouth of Arnold's Creek there so they could get it in the line. So none of those wells over in that section were paying anything. It'll be 3 years before they pay. But people don't realize that. They just think, oh, that's a lot of tax dollars rolled, but it is, but they're gonna make, you know.
they're not gonna pay it till
It's
they
not.
have to.
It's not in production yet. It don't get taxes on it until it goes into production.
Well, I'll supply all these costs to the, is that everybody's biggest expense?
Yes.
Okay, I know that Sammy talked to me the other day about other expenses that he said might be larger, and I said, well, what are they? And he was gonna check on, did he not? Those were the two biggest. I talked to David about it too.
I can check with him.
Well, if there's any change on that, let me know before Tuesday. Okay, I talked to David yesterday and so, well, keep your fingers crossed and we'll go see what happens. That's all we can do. Okay? You guys
David
get,
gonna have some numbers Tuesday for us?
I'll give you this right here. I'll give you actual numbers. And Dave is gonna have numbers. He's coming.
Yeah, David's.
Two other things. There's an LEPC meeting March 14th. We'll be at the courthouse. I tried to get, Beth wasn't there this morning and she's supposed to call me back this afternoon, but I left a message for her. So it'll probably be in the little courtroom, or maybe the big courtroom, how many people show up. But it'll be an LEPC meeting and we're going to talk about communications. We're 99% done with that section. That's the last section to get in the county plan together, and what I want to do is get everybody's input on communication, because that seemed to be our biggest single problem last summer or during the power outage.
Time.
Probably 7 o'clock. That seems to work for everybody
And when you say that is,
at the courthouse.
when?
March 14th.
March 14th.
And,
Linda, give me a call.
That's just,
well, I'll just have her call everybody about
You'll
it.
be real good shape. You're the dentist that day.
Well, I've been talking now.
That may be good.
I'll be short that night or the
That
normal.
may be good if he's really good.
You got no filling.
On the local radio station on, it'll be the end of March. He's been calling me, trying to get me to participate in a talk show that they're going to start every Tuesday from 4 to 4:30 or 4:30 to 5. I don't know the number on that yet. But he also wanted to talk to some of the other people and the emergency type people in the county. And I told him, I said, I'll go first. We'll talk about the plan and everything and the shelters and everything in the county. And then if we get specific questions in, then maybe he can invite some of you guys in to talk on the show. It's a live show with call-in and stuff. I joked, I said, you mean both people in the county will be listening? And he said the last time they had one of these shows, they had like 55 calls. I said, more people in Douglas County listen to that show than I thought they did then. But anyway, that's coming up. And the health department called me the other day. They've got to have a mock disaster in the next 2 years. And I told them that,
Haven't had one of those in a while.
no, not for a while. We've had them.
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
past.
really.
So I told her with all the volunteers we had, with the paid people, it wouldn't be as tough because, you know, you can work crews around that and you work to that, but with the volunteers, it's kind of tough to have a mock disaster. So what we worked out was sometime in the first week in April, and I'll get back to each one of you with a date, the health department's going to spring for a meal at the Cottage Corner and invite everybody in. So what we're going to do is we're going to tabletop. If you don't know what that is, we're going to chalk talk a mock disaster, a specific mock disaster. And then sometime early in the fall, as soon as school starts, we're going to walk through a mock disaster with actually the decontamination stuff from the trailer, the people coming in on scene and everything like that. And the 3 subjects we've got now, and the one we're leaning towards is a chemical spill at the high school in the chemistry lab. Okay? That's the one we're leaning towards because we've got victims, we've got participation, the kids like to do that. So that's in the works. And with the other one was a chemical spill at the water treatment plant, and then they wanted to do a mass inoculation type thing for a pandemic, and I said, no. I said, please don't let's not go there. I said, you know. But they said they're going to foot the bill for the whole thing, the health department is. So that's real good. That's a plus
And
for
we're
the
gonna
county.
foot it.
No. Well,
And we're gonna foot it.
we're going to foot it eventually.
You're
But,
damn
you're
right
right.
we're gonna foot it.
But anyway, the health department through their budget's going to do it.
Yeah, I
and,
know, but
and we're going to do
pay
it.
the money.
So that's stuff coming up, and I'll get you the dates on that stuff. We're going to try to do a tabletop of the question and answer type session. We're going to present the situation, present the thing. We'll talk to people what they're going to do, and she said we can even go out and talk to individual departments if they want it for a training session. We can get CE out of it that way for these guys. Like the squad needs CE for their recertification, and some of you guys are EMTs and stuff. You're all going to need CE.
I'm
for
a good
that.
victim.
Yeah, she's a real good victim. We had a mock disaster at our house that was under construction one time. One of the guys come and told me, he said, Patsy's hurt bad.
Rick was the best.
That was
one.
Rick.
That was the football.
That was the one football field we had years ago, and Pat, he came over and he said, Patsy's hurt bad. So, but we had the regional triage outfit come down with the moulage stuff. They made everybody up, and he was really concerned. Rick Hamilton was really concerned. He said, Patsy's hurt bad. I said, it's all right. She's fine.
We participated in that mock.
Yeah, you've participated a couple. Some of these, it's
We
been.
participated in the one down in Ritchie County.
Yeah, you
last
got
year.
it. Okay, we're going to try to keep this to Doddridge County right now, and especially through the 2. Now, someplace down the line in the past, we've done bus rollovers, we've done vehicle accidents, we've done construction accidents, we've done all kinds of stuff. So that's what we're kind of leaning towards, and we tentatively got blessed by the high school.
4-Hers said they'd be there.
4-H said they would be more than glad to be the victims. They volunteered for that. They thought that'd be great, and that jumps right in their community stuff. So we're trying to get some stuff tied together here and do some stuff. So those are upcoming events. While I got everybody here, I wanted to bend your ear on that. I don't know of anything else. Well, thank everybody for Monday for all the cooperation.
I don't know if anybody knows, but Tyler County is starting a fire school.
Yeah, well, I give out that's the information on Parsons up there.
Yeah, Tyler County's one, I think it starts next month.
Well, Ellenburg's got one too.
next month.
Ellenburg got a grant to do one, and Tyler County's got a grant to do one, and
What are they gonna write?
I don't
Several
know.
things.
Several things. I don't know. They'll send out flyers on them. You had the one on Ellenburg the other night. Was that it?
They're gonna do,
Okay.
firefighter 1, firefighter 2, Officers 1, Officer 2, I think they're starting an EMT class down there too.
Okay.
Something else.
Okay, PDC coming up at Bridgeport Convention Center. PDC's doing the Wild Well training that we did up to high school. For any of you that didn't get to the Wild Well training and you want to get it, 6-hour CE towards your research. Did you guys have the flyer on that over there, Mike?
I think I've got it over in the office over there.
Okay, if any of you are interested, any of your departments are interested, we'll get it, they faxed it to Mike. You guys probably got it
No,
up
I
there
got an
too.
envelope.
You got an envelope with it in?
We got an envelope.
Okay, you got one? Okay, well, anyway, that's coming up, and that's good training, so, now's the time to get the summer breaks and the spring breaks, and these guys will be too busy, so, but they're going to Bridgeport Convention Center, so, they're bringing them back in. That was a real good training. I really liked that one, so, the PDC's putting this one on.
As a matter of fact, I ended up 2 certificates.
Yeah, did you?
Me too. I went to it twice. I went to Martinsville and then I
Okay,
went to
well.
it up
And
here.
according to what I remember
Same
on
man.
that thing, they're serving breakfast and lunch.
Oh,
again.
God.
They serve breakfast, they said they
Oh,
feed
that's
you good. They fed real
Wait,
good.
That's
Yes,
good.
they
You good.
Okay. Has anybody got anything else? If not, I won't hold you up anymore. I'll get you out of here. Okay. Thank you for coming out, and I'll let you know what happens, or you can read in the paper what happens.
Hey, what was this, a TV thing?
Radio.
Oh, it's on radio.
It's on radio. It's a Christian station over here.
Okay.
What's his name? God, he called me the other night, and I can't think
It's
of
here
his
in
name.
town?
Yeah, it's over at the old board office.
Oh, okay, I didn't know they were over there.
Yeah, and he's got it, but he's gonna, he said if they get
No clue.
questions from
Don't know who he
yours,
is.
maybe they could ask some of the chiefs in. I said, I'll run it by everybody, that's all I can do.
Okay.
And it's your choice if you don't wanna go.
And they
go.
probably let you sing, Gary, if you wanted
No,
to.
We got Richard sang on the radio in Nashville, now we got him. We just come through Nashville with that truck and he got on that radio and he said, we're swinging, and that's when that song was out. So I told the preacher of the Christian church that Richard sang on the radio in Nashville and he got announced it to everybody. Oh, Richard was mad at me.
He did too. son.
Okay, people, let's get out of here and let's be safe. Daryl, I got some stuff for you.
I didn't hear anybody say make motion to adjourn.
Oh, we're just informal.
Right now.
Why does the commission gotta be so formal then?
Well,
Well,
you're official.
Can you